Alex opened his eyes slowly, and the first thing he noticed was the light. It was soft, pale, and seemed to come from everywhere at once, making him squint. The air smelled strange, like wet metal and something sweet he could not name. He tried to move, but his body felt different, heavy in some ways, light in others. He lifted his hands and froze. They were not his hands. They were long, slender, almost delicate, with silver skin that shimmered like liquid metal. His fingers ended in smooth tips, almost like they could bend in ways human fingers could not. His heart beat fast. What happened?" he whispered, his voice sounding strange even to him. It carried a soft, melodic tone he did not recognize. Alex sat up and looked at his reflection on the smooth floor. His face was not his own. His eyes glowed faintly, a soft blue that pulsed like a heartbeat. His mouth, his nose, even the shape of his head, everything was different. He reached to touch his face and felt smooth skin, almost like polished stone. Panic rose in his chest. This could not be real. This could not be happening. He tried to remember anything, how he came here, what had happened before waking up, but his memory was fragmented like pieces of a broken mirror. He stumbled to his feet, testing his new body. It moved differently, fluidly, like water flowing around obstacles. He walked across the room, trying to balance, trying to remember how he moved before, but nothing matched. He noticed alien faces appearing from the corners of the room. They were tall and thin, with skin in colors he had never seen. Some green, some violet, some golden. Their eyes were large, dark, and full of curiosity. They whispered to each other, their voices soft and musical, full of tones that made Alex's head spin. The aliens stared at him with a look that made him shiver. It was not fear and it was not hate. It was curiosity, cold and careful, like someone examining an object they did not understand. They did not recognize him. And suddenly, it hit him with full force. He was no longer human. No one would know him. No one would remember that he used to be Alex. Alex backed away, stumbling slightly. His mind raced. How did this happen? Was this some accident, some experiment? He remembered flashes of light, strange noises, then nothing. Waking up here was like being reborn into a world that did not belong to him. He felt panic claw at his chest, a deep, cold fear. But alongside it, a small spark of determination grew. He could not stay frozen. He had to understand this body, this world, this situation. He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. The alien air filled his lungs, strange but not harmful. His senses were sharper now. He could see the tiniest movements of the creatures around him, hear the subtle vibrations in the floor as they shifted, even smell faint scents of flowers from some invisible garden outside. Everything was heightened, clearer, sharper. It was frightening but also fascinating. He tried speaking again, this time louder. "Hello." His voice rang differently, high and soft, melodic. The aliens froze. One of them stepped forward, a tall figure with golden skin. It tilted its head as if listening carefully. Alex noticed that its mouth moved in ways he could not follow. It spoke and the sound was like a song. He tried to repeat it but failed. His body, his new form, did not know how to make the sounds. Alex's mind raced. He had to learn, had to adapt. Survival depended on it. He could not let fear take over. He stepped forward slowly, trying to match their movements, copying the way they held their heads, the way they gestured. The alien with golden skin watched him closely. After a moment, it reached out, a hand long and elegant, and touched Alex's arm lightly. There was no threat, no harm. Just touch, a way to test him. Alex froze, then tried to relax. The alien stepped back and nodded slightly. Alex felt a small relief. Perhaps they would not attack. Perhaps they could communicate in some way. He needed to understand them, and they needed to understand him. But how? He had no knowledge of their language, their customs, their thoughts. He was alone. He moved toward a window-like wall, a clear panel showing a city beyond. The buildings were tall and shimmering, like towers of glass and metal that curved impossibly. Vehicles floated silently above the streets, and strange creatures walked below, moving in ways Alex could not describe. The world was alive, alien, and beautiful. But it was not home. He missed the streets he knew, the sun on his face, the smell of rain. A pang of loneliness hit him, sharp and heavy. He took a step back from the window, breathing deeply. He needed to focus. First, he had to survive in this body. Then, perhaps, he could find answers. He tried simple movements, walking, raising his hands, sitting, jumping. Each action was a small victory, a step toward understanding. Slowly, the panic faded, replaced by a cautious curiosity. As he practiced, he noticed a faint memory stirring. Not of this place, not of this body, but of himself, Alex. He remembered his family, his friends, his small apartment, the sound of laughter. The memory was fragile like a thin glass thread, but it reminded him who he was inside. No matter what body he wore, no matter how alien he looked, he was still Alex. That thought brought warmth in the cold, strange room. A soft sound caught his attention. Someone or something approached. Another alien, this one smaller with violet skin. It tilted its head, observing him with large, gentle eyes. Alex froze, unsure what to do. But then the creature made a small gesture, one that looked almost like a smile. Alex nodded slowly. Perhaps this one could be a friend. He realized something important. He was not completely alone. There were creatures here, intelligent, capable of understanding even if slowly. And there were other humans. He had to believe that. He had to survive, learn, and perhaps one day find a way to communicate, to reclaim a part of himself that had been lost. Alex looked down at his hands again, shimmering silver in the soft light. They were not his hands and they never would be. But he could use them. He could adapt. He could become something new while keeping the spark of what made him human alive. That small spark, fragile as it was, would guide him. He would not let it die. With careful steps, he moved toward the center of the room. The aliens watched quietly, waiting, curious. Alex lifted his head high, feeling the weight of his new form but also the strength inside. Fear was still there, but determination burned brighter. He would learn. He would survive. He would find a way to be Alex again even if no one recognized him. And in that strange alien body, among eyes that did not know him, Alex took his first real steps into a new world. A world full of danger, mystery, and possibilities he could not yet imagine. The attack did not begin with noise. It began with light. Thin beams flashed from the dark, cutting through space with cold speed. One moment, the human fleet drifted together in fear and silence. The next moment, alarms screamed across every ship. On the command deck of the Battlestar Galactica, warning symbols spread across the screens like fire. "They're firing," someone shouted. Commander David Holt grabbed the rail as the ship shook. The Galactica's guns answered at once, sending bright lines into the dark. But the alien weapons were different. They did not hit shields again and again. They struck once, clean and deep. A small transport ship near the edge of the fleet was hit first. Its engines went dark. The ship spun slowly, broken, before a second beam tore it apart. The explosion was silent in space, but inside the Galactica, people felt it like a punch to the chest. "Ship lost," Lieutenant Mark Evans said, his voice hollow. Then another ship was hit. And another. Panic spread fast. Inside the Galactica, the lights flickered. The floor shook as power dropped in several sections. In the engine level, Engineer Michael Reed was thrown against a wall. Sparks rained from above him. He groaned, pushed himself up, and ran toward the control panels. "Come on," he muttered, slamming his hand on the console. "Stay with me." The power system screamed with warnings. Lines were burned out. Backup systems tried to start but failed one by one. Michael wiped sweat from his face, his hands shaking as he worked. He had not slept more than 2 hours in days. His eyes burned, but he did not stop. "If this goes down," he said to the engineer beside him, "we lose life support on 3 decks. The other man nodded, fear clear in his eyes. "Do what you can." Michael rerouted power by hand, cutting energy from non-essential systems. Lights went out in living areas. Heating dropped. People screamed in the dark, but the engine stayed alive. In the medical bay, Dr. Anna Lewis stood knee-deep in chaos. Wounded crew members were carried in one after another. Burns. Broken bones. Blood everywhere. "Put him here," she said, pointing. "No, not there. Over there." Her voice was calm, but her hands moved fast. She pressed bandages, gave injections, and stitched wounds without pause. A nurse whispered to her, "We're out of painkillers in storage too." Anna closed her eyes for half a second. "Use half doses," she said. "Save the rest for the worst cases." A young soldier grabbed her arm. "My friend," he said, tears on his face. "Please." Anna looked at the man lying still on the bed. She checked his pulse. There was none. She gently shook her head. The soldier broke down, crying openly. Anna turned away before her own tears could fall. Outside, the battle grew worse. The alien ships moved like shadows, striking then pulling back. They did not chase. They did not rush. Each attack was calm, careful, and deadly. The human fleet tried to stay together, but damaged ships fell behind. Some lost engines. Some lost control. The aliens destroyed them one by one. Families watched through small windows as distant lights vanished. Every lost ship meant hundreds of lives gone forever. Food storage was hit by a blast on one support ship. Supplies spilled into space. Ration counts dropped sharply across the fleet. In the Galactica's lower decks, people lined up for meals that grew smaller each day. Hunger made tempers short. Children cried at night. Sleep became rare. Laura Mitchell shared a small food pack with her son. She pretended not to be hungry, giving him more than herself. Her hands shook as she watched him eat. "It's okay," she said softly. "We'll get more soon." She did not know if that was true. On the command deck, David Holt watched the fleet shrink. Every report felt heavier than the last. "How many lost?" he asked. Mark hesitated. 7 ships confirmed destroyed. 2 drifting, no response. David closed his eyes. 7 ships meant thousands of people. He forced himself to stand straight. "Keep the fleet moving," he said. "We cannot stop." Far away, the alien fleet observed in silence. They watched human ships burn. They watched signals go dark. They watched fear spread through movement and sound. Their systems recorded human pain in detail. Inside their command vessel, the alien minds shared their conclusions. "Structural failure is rapid," one noted. "Emotional collapse is visible," another replied. They saw humans shouting, running, and crying. They saw disorder grow. Food shortages. Power failures. Medical overload. This matched old records perfectly. "A species under this stress will break," the alien minds agreed. They did not hear Michael Reed cursing softly as he forced one last system online. They did not hear Dr. Anna Lewis whisper encouragement to the wounded as her hands trembled from exhaustion. They did not see Laura holding her son through the dark, humming a song from Earth. Another attack hit. The Galactica shuddered hard. Hull alarms screamed. A section of the ship lost pressure. Emergency doors slammed shut, sealing dozens of people inside. Some survived. Some did not. Michael felt the engines dip again. "No, no, no," he said, running to another panel. His vision blurred. He leaned against the console, breathing hard, then forced himself to keep going. Anna collapsed against a wall for a moment, her back pressed to cold metal. Blood stained her sleeves. A nurse asked, "Doctor, are you all right?" Anna straightened. "I'm fine," she said, though her legs shook. "Bring me the next patient." Time lost meaning. Hours blended together. Attacks came, paused, then came again. Each time the fleet grew smaller. By the end of the cycle, the Galactica flew surrounded by fewer lights. Too many were gone. David Holt stood alone on the command deck, staring at the stars. He felt older than ever before. He wondered how much more his people could endure. Beyond them, the alien fleet drifted calmly. Their records showed a clear path. Human strength was fading. Loss was piling up. Hunger and fear were doing the work that weapons alone could not. "The collapse has begun," the alien minds concluded. They believed they were watching the final chapter of humanity. They did not yet see what still burned quietly inside the human ships. They mistook suffering for defeat. And in that mistake, the future was already changing. The Battlestar Galactica moved through space like a wounded animal that refused to die. Its metal skin was burned and scarred, but it still carried the last hope of humanity inside it. Around the great ship, smaller human vessels stayed close, flying in loose groups. These ships carried families, soldiers, workers, and children. They were tired. They were afraid. Space around them was silent, dark, and endless. Inside the Galactica, the air was heavy. People spoke in low voices. Some cried quietly. Others sat still, holding hands or staring at screens that showed nothing but stars. Everyone knew the truth. Earth was gone. Many colonies were gone. What remained of humanity now lived inside moving ships, always running, never resting. Commander David Holt stood on the command deck. He was not a loud man, but people listened when he spoke. His hair was dark with lines of gray, and his face showed many sleepless nights. He watched the stars through the main screen, arms behind his back. Officers waited nearby, reading data and checking systems again and again, hoping nothing else would fail. "Any change?" David asked. "No, sir," said Lieutenant Mark Evans. "All ships are holding position. Engines are stable." David nodded. He wanted to believe that calm would last, even for a short time. But deep inside he felt something was wrong. Space felt too quiet. In one of the civilian decks, a woman named Laura Mitchell sat with her young son. The boy clutched a small toy ship, its paint chipped from years of use. He asked the same question again in a small shaking voice. "Are we safe now?" Laura forced a smile and pulled him closer. "Yes, for now." She did not believe her own words, but she said them anyway. Around them, other families tried to do the same. Parents lied gently. Children pretended to be brave. Fear filled the halls like smoke, unseen but everywhere. Then the alarms sounded. They were not loud at first. Just a soft warning tone. On the command deck, screens changed color. New symbols appeared, strange and unknown. Contact, Mark said, his voice tight. Multiple objects. Long-range sensors. David stepped closer to the screen. The objects were far away, just shapes against the stars. They did not move like human ships. They drifted in strange patterns, slow and smooth, as if space itself carried them. Identify, David said. No match in our records, another officer replied. They are not attacking. They're watching. The word felt wrong. Watching. Across the fleet, people felt it too. The sense that something was there, unseen but aware. Whispers spread fast. Some thought the enemy had found them again. Others prayed. Some froze in fear. Laura felt a chill run through her body. Her son dropped his toy. Mom, he whispered. She hugged him tighter. Far away, beyond human sight, the alien fleet observed in silence. Their ships were dark and smooth, built with no sharp edges. They did not rush. They did not fire. They simply watched. Inside one alien vessel, figures stood before glowing symbols. They did not speak with voices. Information passed between them in pulses of light and thought. They studied the human ships carefully. They saw damaged hulls, weak shields, and uneven movement. They also watched the humans inside. The aliens saw panic and body movement. They saw broken order and crowded decks. They saw grief. They saw fear. Their records showed that species under such stress often collapsed. History across many worlds had proven this again and again. These ones will break, one alien mind concluded. They have already lost, another agreed. Back on the Galactica, David Holt made his choice. Do not engage, he ordered. No sudden moves. Defensive positions only. But sir, Mark said, we don't know what they want. David looked at the screen again. The alien ships remained distant, silent. Neither do they, he said. Not yet. Hours passed. No attack came. The aliens stayed just out of range, always present. Always watching. Some soldiers grew angry. Why don't we strike first? One muttered. They're just waiting. Others were too tired to argue. In the medical bay, Dr. Helen Wright treated a man with burns from an old battle. Her hands moved fast and steady, even as her eyes showed fear. She had seen too much death already. She knew what fear could do to people if it stayed too long. Stay calm, she told her patients again and again. We are still here. The aliens noticed this too. They saw humans tending to each other, carrying the wounded, sharing food, comforting children. These actions did not match the patterns they expected, but they marked them as small, weak gestures that would fail under greater pressure. Time stretched. Sleep became hard. Every noise made people jump. The fleet felt like it was holding its breath. David finally spoke to the crew over the ship's system. His voice was calm, slow, and clear. We are not alone, he said. But we are still alive. Stay together. Trust each other. We endure this like we have endured everything else. The words spread through the ship. They did not erase fear, but they steadied it. Laura listened and held her son. Soldiers stood a little straighter. Engineers kept working. The aliens recorded it all. They marked this moment as the beginning of the end for humanity. A weak species trapped, afraid, waiting to be crushed. They believed time was on their side. They did not yet understand humans. They did not know that fear did not always mean surrender. And in the cold silence of space, both sides waited, watching each other, standing at the edge of something much larger than either of them understood. Alex and Emily moved quietly through the city streets, carrying the humans they had rescued in Part 3 to a safe location. Their goal now was larger than survival. They needed to show the aliens that humans were more than objects to experiment on. They had to prove that humans could think, act, and care in ways no alien machine or plan could predict. The Council of Aliens was a group Alex had only seen from a distance before. They were tall, with gleaming eyes and flowing robes that shimmered in soft colors. Their faces showed intelligence and authority but no warmth. Alex felt a shiver run through him. He and Emily had never spoken directly to the Council before. Now they had no choice. We need a plan, Emily whispered. We can't just walk in and demand respect. They will see us as weak or as animals. We have to show them what humans can do. Alex nodded. He thought back to all the human traits that had helped him survive so far. Cleverness, creativity, courage, and compassion. If he could combine them, maybe the Council would notice. The opportunity came sooner than they expected. As they approached the council hall, a sudden alarm rang through the city. Alex and Emily froze. They turned and saw a group of young alien children trapped in a nearby laboratory. Machines hummed around them, and wires attached to their small bodies glowed ominously. The council's experimenters had not expected anyone to interfere. Panic rose in Alex's chest, but he pushed it aside. "We can save them," he said firmly. Emily nodded. They moved quickly, using the knowledge they had gained from the facility. Alex disabled the lights with a careful touch on a control panel, plunging the room into shadows. The children cried softly, but he whispered to them, "It's okay. We will help you. Stay calm." Emily and Alex worked together, guiding the children past obstacles. Some machines attempted to block them, sensors lighting up with alarms, but Alex used his quick thinking to create distractions. He remembered human tactics from stories, games, and real-life problems, methods no alien could predict. Emily moved with him, helping children escape quietly and safely. When the last child was free, they raced toward the council hall, the glowing city lights reflecting off their alien forms. For the first time they were not hiding. They were leading, guiding, showing the council the courage of humans. The council's doors opened and Alex stepped forward. His silver hands, glowing faintly, rested at his sides. He looked directly at the tallest council member, whose eyes were sharp and deep. "We are humans," Alex said clearly, "and we are more than you think. We can solve problems. We can protect life. We can act with courage and care when it matters most." Emily stood beside him, her green-skinned body a clear sign of her alien form, but her human mind shining through her actions. "These children," she said, "are alive because of humans. We acted when others would not. We acted because we care. That is what being human means. Not the body but the mind and the heart." The council members were silent. Their eyes moved over the humans and the rescued children, assessing, judging. No one had ever spoken like this, no one had ever acted so boldly. Alex could feel the weight of their scrutiny. He held his head high, letting determination and honesty show. Then one council member spoke, a low, resonant voice that made the hall vibrate. "You claim to be humans," it said. "And yet, you move and speak in forms we cannot understand. Why should we believe you?" Alex took a deep breath. "Because humans think. Humans act. Humans care. These children are proof. We solved a problem you did not expect. We acted with courage and compassion. That is why you should believe in us. We are human no matter the form we wear." Emily stepped closer. "We are not asking for permission. We are showing you what humans can do. Look at the children. They are alive. That is the choice humans make, to save, to protect, to act when others are afraid." The council was silent again. Alex and Emily waited, holding their ground. They did not plead. They did not threaten. They only showed the truth of human strength, the spark of courage and care that burned inside them. Slowly, the council members moved closer. Their expressions softened. They examined the children, noting the marks of care and guidance left by Alex and Emily. Machines were disabled. The humans had acted with skill and intelligence, traits the aliens valued but had never seen applied in such bold ways. One council member, whose eyes glowed faintly like Alex's hands, nodded. "You have acted boldly," it said. "No alien has ever saved others with such thought and bravery. You have demonstrated qualities we admire: courage, intelligence, compassion." Alex's chest tightened. It was not complete acceptance, but it was respect. Emily smiled softly. "Humans have survived for thousands of years by using their minds and hearts. That is who we are, no matter what body we wear." The council members continued to study them. Another spoke. "Perhaps humans can inspire. Perhaps they can teach us loyalty and hope, even in forms that seem alien. We underestimated you." Alex felt a small triumph. Years of human experience, creativity, and courage were finally being recognized, not for their form but for their essence. They had shown that humans were not just creatures to observe, but beings capable of action, decision, and care. The children, now safe, looked at Alex and Emily with wide eyes. One small hand reached out to touch Alex's arm. He bent down and took it gently. The child smiled, showing trust, showing belief. Alex realized that human connection could cross species and forms, that courage and compassion were universal languages. Emily looked at Alex. "We did it," she whispered. "We showed them who we really are. Not just survivors. Leaders. Protectors. Humans." Alex nodded. The city around them was alive with alien sounds, lights, and movement, but now there was something different. A new understanding had begun. The council had begun to see that humans could inspire, could act with loyalty, courage, and hope, even in a body that looked alien. For the first time since waking in this body, Alex felt truly powerful, not because of strength but because of what he could do with his mind and heart. Silence returned after the fires faded. It was not a peaceful silence. It was heavy and careful like a held breath. The Battlestar Galactica drifted forward, wounded but alive. Many decks were dark. Many voices were gone. Yet the ship still moved, and so did the people inside it. There were no speeches. No cheers. No promises of victory. There was only work. Technician Emily Brooks sat alone in a small control room near the outer sensors. One wall screen flickered, half broken, showing delayed data from long-range scans. Emily's face was pale, her eyes tired, but her mind stayed sharp. She had been watching the alien attacks again and again, replaying every strike in her head. She noticed something strange. The aliens always struck from similar angles. They avoided certain ranges. Their strongest attacks came in cycles, never all at once. When humans scattered, the attacks slowed. When ships stayed close, the strikes grew heavier. Emily leaned forward, tapping commands with careful fingers. "They're not hunting," she whispered to herself. "They're testing." She pulled up older data. The pattern became clearer. The aliens expected humans to move in fear, to run wildly or freeze. When humans did something unexpected, the alien attacks hesitated. Emily felt a slow spark of hope. Not victory. Just survival. She stood and walked quickly through dim corridors toward the command deck. Crew members passed her quietly, carrying tools, sealing panels, sharing water. No one spoke much. Everyone understood that noise wasted strength. On the command deck, Captain James Carter listened as Emily explained. Her voice shook at first, then grew steadier. "They expect us to fail," she said. "They follow patterns. If we change our movement just enough, we can reduce damage." James studied the screen. "You're saying we can't beat them?" Emily nodded. "Not directly. But we can stay alive." James looked around the room. Tired faces watched him. No one argued. "Do it," he said. Orders went out quietly. The fleet changed shape. Ships moved in loose groups, then spread, then came together again. Nothing sharp. Nothing fast. Just enough to confuse. Pilot Daniel Moore felt the difference immediately. Daniel flew one of the Galactica's remaining fighters. His hands were steady on the controls, though his body ached with exhaustion. His ship showed damage warnings he could not fix. He ignored them. "Keep it slow," he told his wingmate. "No hero moves." They flew small arcs around the fleet, not chasing aliens, not firing unless needed. When alien weapons powered up, Daniel pulled back early. When the aliens paused, he pushed forward just enough to draw attention away from damaged ships. It was not brave. It was careful. An alien beam flashed past his ship, missing by meters. Daniel did not cheer. He simply adjusted course. In the civilian decks, something quiet changed as well. People stopped asking when it would end. They stopped shouting. Instead, they shared tasks. One person watched children while another repaired doors. Food was divided evenly. Even the smallest portions were shared without argument. Laura Mitchell helped seal a corridor with others she had never met. Her son sat nearby, silent but alert. "We'll be okay," Laura told him, not loudly but with certainty. He nodded. In the medical sections, Dr. Anna Lewis worked with fewer supplies than ever, but she worked smarter. She trained volunteers to clean wounds. She reused equipment carefully. She rested only when she had to. Michael Reed returned to the engine levels, his burns wrapped, his steps slow. He did not complain. He rebuilt systems using spare parts that were never meant to fit together. The engines hummed unevenly, but they held. Every small success mattered. Outside, the alien fleet watched. Their sensors recorded fewer panic signals. Human movement became smoother, quieter. The expected chaos did not grow. It shrank. "This is inefficient," one alien mind observed. "They should be collapsing," another replied. Alien attacks continued, but they hit less often. Human ships avoided the strongest blows. Damaged vessels survived longer than predicted. Confusion spread through the alien command. "They are adapting," a signal passed through their network. The aliens did not understand why. Their history showed that species under such loss usually fought harder in anger or gave up in despair. Humans did neither. They did not charge. They did not beg. They endured. Daniel Moore led another small maneuver, drawing alien fire away from a transport ship filled with civilians. His fighter took a hit. Warning lights flashed red. "Daniel, pull back," his wingmate shouted. "Give me 5 seconds," Daniel replied calmly. He rolled his ship, fired a short burst, then pulled away. The alien beam followed him, missing the transport. The transport jumped to safety. Daniel's fighter limped back to the Galactica, smoke trailing behind it. On the command deck, James Carter watched the fleet still exist, still move. He said nothing, but his shoulders eased slightly. Emily Brooks continued watching patterns, adjusting advice with each new move. She spoke less, listened more. The aliens changed angles, but not enough. They were learning too slowly. Inside the alien fleet, debate grew. "These humans should be broken," one mind insisted. "They lose ships," another said. "They lose people. Yet they remain connected," a third replied. The aliens watched humans gather the dead with care. They saw no celebrations, no surrender. Only quiet purpose. They did not understand this kind of strength. To the aliens, strength was speed, firepower, control. To humans, strength was staying together when nothing made sense anymore. The Galactica moved on, scarred and dim, but alive. The fleet followed, fewer than before, but steady. No songs were sung. No speeches were made. But in silence, humanity resisted. And for the first time since the attacks began, the aliens hesitated. Alex stood at the edge of the city, looking out over the glowing towers and winding streets. The sun, or the light that passed for a sun in this world, cast soft reflections on his silver skin, and for the first time he felt at peace. He had survived, he had fought, and he had proven what humans could do. But something deeper had changed. He no longer longed to return to his old body. That human form, the one he had lost, was no longer necessary. What mattered was the mind, the courage, and the heart inside him. Emily came to stand beside him, her green-skinned alien body moving gracefully. "Are you ready?" she asked. Her eyes glimmered with understanding. She had accepted her new form too, embracing the alien body while keeping her human spirit alive. Together they had saved humans, inspired aliens, and changed the way the Council saw them. Alex nodded slowly. "I am," he said. "I think this is where I belong now. Not because it's my body, but because of what I can do with it. We have a chance to make a difference here, to help humans and aliens live together, to show them what humans really are." The city had changed in small ways since the Council recognized the humans' courage. Some aliens whispered about Alex and Emily, admiring the way they had acted boldly and wisely. Others began to approach them, cautiously at first, asking questions and seeking guidance. Alex realized that respect had begun to grow, not because he was powerful but because he had shown thought, bravery, and compassion. One day Alex and Emily were called to the council chamber. The doors opened silently and the council members, tall and imposing, looked at them with a new kind of regard. One council member stepped forward. "Alex," it said, its voice calm but firm, "your actions have inspired more than humans could imagine. You have shown courage, creativity, and care. You have proven that humanity is more than a form. We wish to honor you." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. He bowed slightly, a gesture he had learned from the aliens. "I did not act for honor," he said. "I acted because it was right. Humans protect life and we adapt. That is who we are, no matter our form." Emily added, "We want to help humans and aliens coexist. There is so much we can learn from each other. Together we can make this city stronger, safer, and better for everyone." The council considered this. Then one by one they nodded. Slowly, respect turned into cooperation. Some council members offered help to improve the humans' living conditions. Others allowed Alex and Emily to lead small groups of humans and aliens in joint projects, teaching understanding and cooperation. Alex felt a sense of purpose he had never known before. In his alien body he could reach places he could not have reached as a human. He could communicate with the aliens in ways humans could not, but he still carried the human mind inside him, creative, clever, and brave. That combination made him powerful in a different sense. Not in strength but in influence. The humans he had saved began to trust him, following his guidance to learn the city's ways and adapt to their new lives. Alex taught them strategies for movement, communication, and observation. He shared the lessons he had learned, patient cleverness, and the courage to act when it mattered most. He reminded them that being human was about thought and spirit, not the shape of one's body. Emily led training for the children, helping them grow strong in both mind and body. She encouraged them to use creativity to solve problems, to work together with the aliens, and to remember their human courage even in their alien forms. Slowly, a new generation of humans began to thrive, no longer afraid of the alien city but using it as a place of opportunity. Alex and Emily also began to teach the aliens. They showed them how human problem-solving could solve difficult tasks, how creativity and courage could overcome obstacles machines and logic alone could not. Some aliens were skeptical at first, but seeing the humans succeed again and again changed their minds. They began to admire humans not just as strange creatures in different CNT bodies, but as beings capable of inspiring hope, loyalty, and courage. Over time, Alex became a symbol in the city. He was no longer the human in an alien body who had arrived by accident. He was a hero recognized by both humans and aliens. Stories spread of how he had saved the children, stopped the experiments, and shown what humans could achieve. Other humans began to follow his example, acting boldly and kindly, teaching aliens and humans to work together. One evening, Alex stood on a balcony overlooking the city with Emily. Lights glimmered across the towers and alien voices filled the streets below. The humans and aliens moved together, working, talking, and sharing small gestures of respect. For the first time, Alex felt a true sense of belonging. Emily smiled. "You've changed everything," she said softly. "You've shown them what humans can do." Alex looked at his glowing hands, still silver and unfamiliar, and then back at Emily. "We changed ourselves first," he said. "We accepted who we are, used what we have, and never let fear stop us. That's how humans survive. That's how humans thrive." They spent the next days organizing projects to improve life for both species. Humans and aliens worked together to build new facilities, create safer paths, and share knowledge. Alex encouraged communication, clever problem-solving, and compassion. Slowly, distrust faded, replaced by understanding. The city was becoming a place where differences were not feared but respected. Through it all, Alex never forgot his human mind. He kept his memories, his courage, and his creativity. Even though his body was alien, he felt more human than ever. He realized that identity was not about the body one had, but the choices one made, the actions one took, and the care one showed for others. One day, a young alien child approached Alex, eyes wide with curiosity. "Are you human?" the child asked. Alex smiled. "Yes," he said. "And yes, I'm also something new. What matters is what we do, how we act, and how we help each other. That is what makes us strong." The child nodded slowly, understanding more than the words could express. Alex realized that he was teaching the next generation not only to survive, but to lead with courage, cleverness, and heart. Emily placed a hand on his shoulder. "We've built something here," she said. "Humans and aliens can live together. They can learn from each other. And we've shown that humanity is not just a form. It is a spark that will never go out." Alex looked out at the city, the towers shining, the streets alive with cooperation and life. He felt a deep calm. He had lost his old body, but he had gained something greater: purpose, respect, and the power to inspire others. Humans were more than their appearance. They were minds capable of courage, creativity, and compassion. That was the real strength of humanity. From that day forward, Alex and Emily led humans and aliens together. They guided projects, solved problems, and inspired both species to see each other as equals. They proved that humans could survive, adapt, and thrive anywhere, even in an alien world, even in a body that was not their own. Alex realized that identity was not about looking a certain way. It was about thinking clearly, acting bravely, and caring for others. The spark of humanity, he knew, could shine in any form. And in this alien city, surrounded by both humans and aliens who had learned to trust and respect him, Alex finally felt whole. He smiled at Emily. "We are humans," he said. "And now we are more than that. We are a bridge, a spark, a hope." And in the soft glow of the alien city, with children playing safely, humans learning, and aliens respecting them, Alex knew it was true. Humanity was alive, not in the body but in the mind, the courage, and the heart. And that spark would never die.